Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. Happy Saturday, everybody. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about Masters of the Universe and how they are losing space at retail. Their footprint at retail is shrinking, most notably at Walmart. Seen the new planogram. I have a copy of that I will show. And I'm going to tell you kind of why I think that's happening, the future implications. But I have to say that I've been planning this video for a while, actually since pretty much Christmas Eve. And I just plan to release it today. Well, now Scott Knightley put out a video talking about how Motu's ending in April of this year. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do have a lot of pre-planned points. Some support that, some do not. So I'll talk about this as we go. But we're going to discuss the shrinking footprint and how this will affect collectors. And I pray it doesn't go 100% online. Talk about this coming up. All right, so before I get into talking about the shrinking Motu at retail, I just want to say, personally, I don't want to see it go away. I'm excited for Masters of the Universe Motu. I'm building my Eternia display. I do have an Eternia display update coming very soon. I have a few more pieces I've tried to track down I want to get before I make that video, but it's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited for it. I know it's over a year away, but I want to know that when it comes in, I can do my review, do my comparisons I plan to do, and have it in place. Pretty excited about that. Okay, so this video has been in the works for me since about Christmas Eve. Now, Christmas Eve, I just go out pretty much every Christmas Eve, and I like to hit the toy aisle, just see what it looks like. It's usually almost completely empty, barren, because of the last-minute shoppers getting their kids whatever random toy as cheap as they could get it and buying up the cheapest stuff they could find. And so this year, I've never seen a Christmas Eve, an hour before close, this heavily stocked. Now, this isn't just Masters of the Universe. This is a whole bunch of different toy lines, but all of them seem to be overly stocked with old product. Very little new product, all old product. Literally, Transformers is a year-old figure sitting there and some stuff like that. All the way across old product that we are pretty much tired of looking at and not buying, and parents didn't buy them for their kids. So, clearance is expected. Obviously, right after this, clearance is expected. I did snap this shot of Andra at Walmart. The reason is because I was like, oh, I better take a picture of the one I'm leaving behind here. I grabbed a handful of these figures. I'm really excited to get some extras to open and go through and do stuff with. But the thing is that they're deep cut clearancing Masterverse, like super deep. I don't know why they're holding on to Skeleton God so hard, and I don't know why they're holding on to some of their other ones as high-priced clearance as they have them, but they're putting a lot of stuff on clearance. Now, clearance is nothing new, nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be alarmed, but I have to admit, Masters Universe is more heavily clearanced at Target and Walmart than anything else that I've seen. And now, finally, Walmart is clearancing that flocked Panther, but it's only like $10 off, which is strange. But yet they're 30%, a full 30% off of the Talon Fighter for the TV show, the Netflix show. So with that, I'm kind of curious, are they moving away from this whole CGI movie stuff? But it's still on the planogram. We're going to look at the planogram here in a bit. But Battlecats have been clearanced out everywhere else multiple times, and Walmart just finally getting around to doing it and barely clearancing it. So we'll see how deep this goes. We'll see how low they go and how long they hold on to these higher clearance prices. But clearance is not the reason Motu would be ending. And clearance is not, in my opinion, exactly why we're shrinking retail. I think it's because it's just not moving and they're not using it. They're not utilizing the pegs well enough. So one of the biggest problems with 2022 was, for whatever reason, Wave 7 just clogged up retail the whole entire year. And the thing about this was that it's the Sorceress Wave, and then you had that Stratos that was a comic version, but it wasn't a horrible wave. It wasn't the end of the world wave, because I know Sorceress is really a hard to get figure in the vintage, so a lot of vintage collectors would probably want that. I know I was happy to get one and open it up. That's what's in my display. So looking at this did keep every other wave from entering my Walmarts. No other waves ever hit my Walmarts in 2022. This made me have to resort to online only, and I still have yet to see these in the store. I have not seen these in the store, not even Target's. And Target is doing a lot better at clearancing their stuff out, moving product out to get new product in, cycling the product like they should, like a good, healthy retail environment would do, even though we know it's not a healthy retail environment. But with that, I'm resorting to paying a couple bucks more on BBTS to get them. At least I have them, but you can't count on retail right now, especially with it shrinking. Less and less product, poor distribution. But I still don't think this is the end in April. I don't think it's ending in April, but I have some proof to refute that and some proof that might actually support that. So I want to show here, two of my Walmarts look just like this, and here's the thing. There's about 12 to 15 snout spouts and leeches in both Walmarts that are closest to me. And I want to say with this that if every Walmart had 12 of these, and they're not selling, and they're not moving, and there's 4,721 Walmarts, I don't know, plus or minus 200 depending on closing. So that's a lot of inventory. That's about 56,000 units sitting in just Walmart alone. And so if you start thinking about taking out Walmart, taking out retail, stop shipping to retail. If they ever choose that, we lose 60,000 produced. They won't produce those to ship them there. I don't think BBTS is going to absorb 60,000 more snout spouts and leeches. I really don't. So this is going to lead into the planogram, and they have leech and snout spout on their planogram. Like, they plan to hold on to them things forever. And so that's interesting too, that if you look at every single other section, how they name it. So you see leech at the top. On the left it says Motu Origins, and left it says Motu Origins. Below that it says Motu MV, meaning Masterverse. And then below all that is Motu Animated, and then a different Motu Animated, which is a different shaped size box, so it could fit in there. But yet they put leech and snout spout specifically, not deluxe. It's as if they don't expect to get any other deluxe in. They're just stuck with so many leeches and snout spouts that they know they're not going to get any more. They probably canceled orders for other deluxes. That might be a situation. And with this shrinking planogram and this shrinking footprint, they're probably planning on ordering less. And see, this is kind of how business is done, ordering less, because it's not selling as well as they thought. So what does that mean to collectors? That's bad for collectors, knowing that you probably won't find it at retail. I know it's been harder to find stuff at retail in the last few years. It's just been harder and harder and harder. And I've been personally resorting to online more than I've ever done in my whole life. But it's still fun to find it at retail. At retail, you usually can find a sale, and maybe if it's something you're just on the fence about, you can wait for a clearance or a sale or something like that. But getting into this whole CGI, this is the Savage Eternia Merman, and all these Savage Eternia designs, these all look fantastic. I think that even if you don't like this line or you don't collect this line, you might want to pick a couple of these up just because they look pretty cool and pretty interesting. The Later Wave Syndrome. There's two things with the Later Wave Syndrome. A lot of those figures are the coolest that I've ever seen when it comes to pretty much every toy line. And then a lot of them get produced in such small quantities that they're not planning on them hitting retail. We've seen this before with Star Wars Vintage Collection back in 2012. If this was the end of the line, or it's starting to just ramp down, they're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, then you see less produced. That's always how it goes. With every single toy line, every single time, the last waves are last wave syndrome of very few getting produced. So with that, you notice that they don't hit retail. These did not hit retail. They didn't hit retail around me. And back in the day when you're getting these for $10 a figure and you're used to it, then you had to go online and buy a whole case. You had to buy a whole case of these to get them online at $12 a figure. Back then, that was a huge mindset shift to me. But I wanted to get my collection completed, so I went online and I bought them. But I kind of feel like we're going to be in that sort of situation right now when it comes to Masters of the Universe. Not that it's ending in April, but when it does wind down, we're going to be having trouble getting figures at retail. But one thing that's really alarming me is I've noticed I search the internet for fun. I look at stuff that I'm not ever going to buy just because I think it's interesting. But I see auctions on eBay such as this. This auction shows a whole lot of figures that I'm shocked they hit dirt cheap. Now, for those of you who don't have a dirt cheap, those are sub-retail, clearance, bargain bin kind of stores. Kind of like what Bud's was back in the day for Walmart and Sam's. But it's their own independent company. You'd say it's like Big Lots. It's not like Big Lots. It's not like these other companies. It is literally the last step of retail before it's dumped into a landfill. And so I'm shocked to see this stuff coming out of dirt cheap. Those are dirt cheap stickers at the bottom on relatively new figures. Like, I can't believe dirt cheap's getting these. And I see them with Origins, recent waves of Origins with dirt cheap stickers on them. And that is scary and unhealthy. At the same time, waves completely missing retail in my area. We get reissues. We get reissues of Wave 2 showing up, which is really strange. So it's strange and confusing at the same time. We can't get the new stuff, but we can get the old stuff reissued. So this tells me that there is some level of confidence from Mattel to put out these figures again. But this also could be a fast end-of-line cash grab. So I really don't know what's going on with these reissues. Yes, it's good for the collectors. It's good for the fans. But when you think about it, Mattel's a business. They're here to make money. So they're striking while the iron's hot, while they still have the ability with an audience to move these. And they're moving very well. I haven't talked much about Target. Target does still have pre-orders up for stuff like Too Bad. Now, a lot of people thought Too Bad was going to be a Target exclusive and all that kind of stuff, but it's still coming down the pipeline. But it's actually coming in now. People are ordering it and getting it from Target. So that's impressive. It's exciting. Now, I got to say something about this real side note, that this is a really expensive Classics figure. And when I get mine in and I do a review and a comparison, all that kind of stuff, I actually think it's going to be better than the Classics. I really do think this is one of the few that are better than Classics. And I've got that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot, especially coming from me, who I prefer the classic designs. I'm going to go on the record and say I was just at my Target today and we got new Masterverse. And so I did pay a couple bucks more to get a first set at BBTS. I probably would buy a second one at retail. I'm going to, hopefully there's some sort of a sale at Target coming up so I can snag them for a deal. But I will be getting a second one from Target. I'm curious how quick they sell through though, because it seemed like nobody touched any of the Motu that's been put out lately at Target, but they actually have new stuff at Target. Pretty exciting. So quickly addressing Scott Knightley, Spectre Creative, and what he's saying about Motu ending in April. Now, there's a lot of explanations. I've watched a few videos of other people about this. This was not what my video was supposed to be about at all, but I don't really think it's going to end in April. I think that we will see significant change in product, and we will see a significant change in a few things. A lot of it's going to be surrounding this revolution. I haven't heard anything about it. I can't get a release date on this. I can't find any more information than an article written last year, about 7 months ago. So I'm not really 100% sure where they're at with this, when this is going to get released, and all that kind of stuff. Truth be told, if this doesn't come out and all the stuff they're talking about, the media doesn't come out, then they definitely will not have product to support it. And since it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years sometimes to create the product to support the media, that could be a problem. Mattel's also come out and said that there's going to be a Snake Mountain coming out. They're working on this. Here's the thing, though. We still haven't seen the end production sample. We don't have a release date for it. We don't have an official price. And although we've seen some site that I've never used put up pre-orders for it, it could just be a space holder. So there's a lot of concerns for it. But I look forward to this coming out. But I gotta tell you, this is made for retail at probably around the $100 price point. This will not sell well. I don't care what anyone says. This is not selling well. Yeah, it's gonna be on clearance. I plan to pick one up on clearance, but it probably will not sell well. Simply because there's probably half or maybe 60% of the demand as there was for Castle Grayskull when it comes to Snake Mountain. But we haven't even seen the correct green snake yet. The next thing I want to say about Scott talking about Motu ending in April of 2023 because that's what he's hearing from his insiders or whatever. I want to say this, that it's not unprecedented. It's not unprecedented to be going full go with lots of product reveals, having products made up that look fantastic, that people are super excited for, just like what Playmates did with Voltron. The Voltron, they were some of the better Voltron toys out there. And they're not perfect, they're not perfect, but I was looking forward to this Mega line, or they called them Megas. They were gigantic, almost about the same size as, say, the Matted Collector ones, slightly different designs and all that kind of stuff. They looked really interesting, looked like a whole lot of fun, completing the pilots. So probably 2 months later, no more word of Voltron, everything clearanced off the shelves, and no word, nothing from Playmates why they did it. It just shocked me that it happened. I was shocked that it happened, and I still would like to have gotten these, but at the end of the day, no matter how much we wanted it, it was over. So everybody's kind of saying that when retail does sort of stop carrying Masters of the Universe, and you can go online for it. Well, there's so many exclusives that are at Mattel Creations that it's starting to get really annoying, and to the point that it's not fun or enjoyable to collect if that's how you have to do it. And I understand for the people who collect the classics, that's how it happened at the end with classics. That it was hard to get them, they were selling out in 30 seconds. I mean, all this sound familiar? Well, it's what's going to happen coming Tuesday with this Frogmonger. Is he called a Frogmonger? Now it's limit 3, and he's $19. Here's the thing. If you buy one of each figure on Mattel Creations, and then you pay the $6 shipping plus the tax, you're looking at like $28 for a $15 Origins figure. That's insane. That's highway robbery. Like, the only way to feel like you got your money's worth is to buy 3 of them for like $65. So this is crazy, but that's the future of collecting if we lose retail. And that's what scares me. I don't want to pay double for every single figure that I buy going forward once retail is no longer carrying them. So I just want to say I'm excited about the future of Motu. I think that they're going deeper, and the deeper they go, I think the less people are interested. So there is a problem. I'm curious what you think about what's going on with all of this. Are you guys concerned that it ends in April? Are you concerned at all that the retail is shrinking? Are you just basking in the glory of all the clearance? And are you looking forward to more clearance? Well, I'm not looking forward to empty shelves and no slots for Motu going forward. But we'll talk about this and more coming up in the future months, and we'll see what happens in April. Probably nothing. Hanger out.